She said she was visiting her parents. I believed her. Until my kids started describing cheap motels and a man named Bob. So I hired a private investigator, and what I found shattered everything I thought I knew about my wife, and gave me the tools to completely destroy her affair partner's life. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted the most and dreamed of sweet, devastating justice, hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in, because this isn't just a story of cheating. It's a story of cold, calculated revenge with receipts. Way back in the early 2000s, I started noticing things that didn't sit right. At the time, I was married with 2 kids, young ones, around 4 and 6. They were just hitting that age where they could really start describing their days. And that's when the cracks started showing. They kept saying they were spending a lot of time at their grandparents' house, my wife's parents. Now, on the surface, that didn't sound crazy. My in-laws were decent folks and they lived about 90 minutes away. But 2-3 times a week? That's a hell of a commute, especially for someone working part-time. I asked my wife about it, casually at first. She brushed it off, said it was nothing. But the way she said it, something was off. Her eyes darted. Her smile was forced. She was never a good liar. And once you see the lie, you can't unsee it. So I started tracking the mileage on her car, quietly. No confrontation, no drama, just cold, hard numbers. Every week, her odometer showed about 400 extra miles. That's not a quick trip to Mom's. I knew something was going on, but I didn't know what yet. And then, one ordinary afternoon, fate handed me a key, literally. A sticky note left next to our old desktop computer. Her AOL password. I shouldn't have logged in, but I did. And what I found made my blood run cold. Email exchanges with her college BFF, detailed discussions about how she was regularly hooking up with one of her old high school boyfriends. No regrets, no shame, just teenage-level trash talk about how his wife had let herself go after having kids. I felt like I couldn't breathe, like the ground had dropped out from under me. I printed out the emails, every single one, and stashed them. But I still needed more. Cold, irrefutable proof. Something she couldn't twist or lie her way out of. That's when I called a friend, an old buddy of mine who was a cop. He listened. He didn't say much, but at the end of the call, he gave me a name. Ron, a retired officer turned private investigator. I called him the next day. Ron was everything I needed. Discreet, efficient, and zero bullshit. I handed him the emails, gave him the details I had, and wrote the check. Within weeks, he handed me a report. It was worse than I thought. Photos, dates, times, locations. Every pattern confirmed. She'd drop the kids at her parents' house, meet this guy, let's call him Bob, for lunch, and then they'd check into some sketchy motel for a few hours. Then she'd pick up the kids like nothing happened. Like nothing happened. I was done. My childhood had been wrecked by cheating parents. I remembered the screaming, the tension, the silent dinners. I swore I'd never let my kids go through that. So I called a divorce attorney. But not before asking Ron for one last job, find out everything he could about Bob. And oh, Ron delivered. Bob was married, 3 kids, worked as the VP of sales for his father-in-law's company. That's right, his wife's dad gave him his job. Their house? Also owned by her parents. Bob was living his best life, built on lies. That was about to change. I had my lawyer draft the divorce papers, but I wasn't going to hand them over quietly. Oh no. I planned a double strike. On the same day my wife was served, at her job no less, I sent Ron to Bob's house, not to confront him, but to meet with his wife. She deserved the truth. Ron showed her the emails, the photos, the dates, the motels. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just sat there, then thanked him. And that's when the avalanche started.
While my wife's infidelity didn't impact my divorce legally, it devastated Bob's life. His wife? She cleaned out their joint account the same day, took the kids, moved in with their parents. Her father, the one who gave Bob his cushy VP title, fired him immediately, cut him off completely. And since the house they lived in was also owned by her parents, evicted. Divorce court records later showed it got nasty. Bob tried to worm his way back in. One time he showed up at their old house screaming for her. Her brother stepped in. Bob walked away with a broken nose and a restraining order. Then came the criminal charges, more police reports, court appearances, jail time. His reputation? Torched. Career? Gone. Family? Left him. Last I heard, Bob left the state. Vanished. Meanwhile, his ex-wife took over her dad's business after he retired. She's doing fine.
As for me, I moved on. My ex and I are civil for the kids, that's it. I don't hate her, but I'll never forget what she did. Not because she broke my heart, but because she made me lie to my kids about where Mommy really was. I don't care what happens to her, but I'll always be grateful that Bob got everything he deserved, and then some. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button, and tell us in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or experienced? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories just like this, where justice always finds a way.